We are beginning the lesson number 14, the page Dalet 4, the right column in the Hasulam, the line 26. The last words of the last lesson were that he said that afterwards at the beginning of the bracha, of the benediction on the cup with wine, a man must leave the cup on 5 fingers of the only on the 5 fingers of the right hand. Why? Because there is, in order not to awaken the grasping of the sitra achra, of the impure power, to suck from the small side. 26. וזה שאומר מכאן ולהלאה, or double point, כלומר 27. אלוקים תליטאה יתקר במאמר יהי אור וכולי. 28. שהוא להציל בחינת הגדלות דנוקבה, שהוא סוד. 29. ה' חסדים ויהודה ג' מחילן דרחמי, אשר ה' החסדים 30 הם סוד ה' פעמים אור שבמאמר שהן double point יהי, the left column, the first line of the Hasulam, יהי אור ויהי אור. האור כי טוב בין האור לאור יום. Okay. The right column, the line 26. וזה שאומר, and that's what he said, that is what he said, the Zohar. מכאן ולהלאה, or from here and on, or and further, there is or is light. Double point. When you see this word, Aleph, Vav, and Resh, this means normally the light of Chokhmah. And this is the word for or, light. When in between the second and the third letter, you see the letter Yud in between. It would mean that it would mean air, the air. And the air is naturally more dense than the light. And that's why the air in the language of the Zohar means something that is denser than the light, that is the light of Chasadim, the light of loving kindness, or the light of mercy sometimes they call it. And this means that when the Yud enters between in the word or light, this corresponds to the state of Katnut, of the small state, whereby this Yud is the Malchut that rises up to the Binah. And by that, in Madrega, in level of the, or in the Partsuf, only remain two compartments, two kilim, as it were, only Keter and Chochmah, with the corresponding lights, the lower lights, Nefesh and Ruach. This is, by the way, in Hebrew it is Baderach Agav, by the way. And this is we will, because we have all study in one, that's why I will often use this method of Baderach Agav. Also the Talmud uses this very often. In the Talmud, sometimes you can study it, and then the Chachamim, the how do you call it?
The wise men?
The wise men of the Talmud, sometimes they start speaking about something like Derech Hagav, what I say, something by the way, yeah, how do you call it? Something that is secondary, something that refers to something, and then they are going on pages, talking about something that was necessary just a little bit in our eyes, to explain some small aspect. And you are going further, and they explain it, and they come to new perspectives, ideas, themes, subjects, and it is very complex. And then you forget already what was the main point, what was the point from which they started. But I'll try to do it a little bit, but then so that you understand the necessity sometimes of this method of Baderach Hagav, by the way, doing something, explaining something by the way, because it's necessary could be necessary for our study. V'zeh shomer, and that is what he says, the Zohar. This is the expression that Hasulam very often uses this abbreviation. V'zeh shomer, just these three letters.
Dat is weer het eerste woord op regel 26.
Yes, this is the first word abbreviation in the line 26. And you see, it's necessary to tell you all these things. Maybe it's not smooth, it's not fluent, the sentence that is translated. Doesn't matter. But in such a way, you're getting prepared to work with the Zohar, and together with the Zohar, with other sources of the Kabbalah, by yourself. And this is important. 26. V'zeh shomer, and that is what he says, the Zohar. And I use very often the genders that are in Hebrew genders that correspond to the Hebrew words and not the English. So keep it in mind, please. V'zeh shomer, and that's what he said, mikan ulehala, or from here and further is or light. Double point. Klomar, that means 27. Elokim tlit'a, the third mention of the word Elokim in the Torah. Edkar b'mamar, he or is mentioned in the expression in he or, in the sentence you can say he or. This is in the beginning of the Torah, when he says, let there be light, he or, v'chule, etc. 28. Shehu lehatzil, bechinat gadlut, that this is in order to create Hibchinat Gadlut the Nukva, the aspect of Gadlut, of the big state, of the Nukva. Shehu saw that this is in a sense, the essence of 29. Hey Chasadim, the 5 Chasadim, the Yud Gimel, and 13 Mechilan derachami, 13 forgivenesses of the mercy. Asher Heya Chasadim, whereby the 5 Chasadim, 30, Hem sod hei pamim or shebamamar, they are 5 times the word or light shebamamar in the sentence or in the expression in the Torah. We see that shehen, that they are, double point, There are 5 times when this word or in the deed of the creation are used. That these are double point, he left the left column, the first line, he or, this is the first mention of this word or, and this is he or is let there be light, and then he or, and there was light, and then this is the second one, and then haor kitov. You remember they said, and Elohim saw, and so as it in the normal Bible says, they say, and God saw the light that, and he was good. This is the third mention of the word or. Haor, kitov, and he saw, and then haor kitov, the light that is good. And then the fourth, ben haor, between the light, and then the last one, leor, and the light, day. So, and he called, remember, and he called the light day. So, what this means, it's my addition to this explanation, what he said already, that these 5 chasadim what we see, what we have learned about these 5 chasadim, that Nukva received from the Zeir Anpin. That these 5 chasadim, we see them, the hint, we see in the Torah, in the beginning of the Torah, because the beginning of the Torah speaks about the creating of the world, and the world is Zeir Anpin and Nukva. 6 days and 7 days, 6 days of the creation is Zeir Anpin, and the 7th is the Nukva, as you remember. And that's why there are 5 times a hint that there are 5 times light, the word light, or in this what do you call it? In this fragment of the Torah. And we see the word or, yes, the word light. And the word light shows, we will see further, that it's light, and let him further explain us what it means by that. So 5 times the word or, light, corresponding to these 5 chasadim. The line 2 in the left column, after the point. V'ha'yud gimel mechilan derachamei merumazim bakatuva vayhi 3 erev vayhi boker yom echad point. V'hayud gimel mechilan, and the 13 forgivenesses of the rachamai, of the mercy. It doesn't matter that we probably, there in English you can't say forgivenesses, or in the plural. You see, we will use these things in order to feel, to try to enter to, and to deepen our feeling of the holy language. That's why we use these corresponding English translations. V'hayud gimel mechilan derachamei. And the 13, why the 13? Because Weha, and then Yud Gimel, the abbreviation of Yud Gimel is, Yud is 10, and Gimel is 3, 13. And everyone from you had received our Gematria card. So you can use it just, it's good that it lies just before your eyes, and you always use it up till you don't, there will come a moment when you will not need it anymore. V'hayud gimel mechilan derachamei. And, or whereas the 13 forgivenesses of the rachamei, of the mercy, merumazin, the hint of them is given, is written actually here, bekatuv, is given in the verse, in the Torah. Vayhi 3 erev, vayhi boker yom echad, and there was evening, and there was morning, one day. Point. Ki echad. You see, in this expression we see the 13 forgivenesses of mercy. Why? How? In the light, in the use of the word light, is it obvious? 5 times the word or, light, and they are corresponding to the 5 chasadim. That's clear. But here, and there was evening, and there was morning, one day. 3 after the point. Ki echad. Who saw the Yud Gimel for? Vehu gam gimatria begimatria Yud Gimel. Point 3. Ki echad. 1, because the word one, from this one day. Who sought is the secret or the essence. The essence is of Yud Gimel is 13. For this one is 13. Vehu gam begematria 13, and this is also has the gematria 13. So if you look at the word echad is one. Yeah, means one. And if you look, it exists of 3 letters. Aleph.
It's the 5th word on the 3rd line.
It is the third word from the end of the line 3. Yes? You can find it? Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
So echad, and if you look at this word, it exists of three letters. Aleph is gematria 1. Het is gematria 8. Is together is 9. And Dalet is gematria 4. Together is 13. And the Creator is also called One. The One, blessed is He. See, One. And that's why One is when also a person becomes one with Hashem, with the Creator, it means that he receives 13. One is Echad. This is a consequence of receiving of 13 attributes of mercy. Five. Vehei haorot halalu hem sod ma shamru chazal haor 6 shebara hakadosh baruch hu bayom echad ביום ראשון היה אדם צופה בו 7 מסוף העולם עד סופו כיוון שנסתכל הקדוש ברוך הוא 8 בדור המבול ובדור הפלגה וראה שמעשיהם 9 מקולקלים עמד וגנזו מהם וזה 10 אמרו דיתברי ויתגניס. Point. Five. Vehei haorot halalu. Vehei, you see, vehei, v is and hei is gematria hei. It means 5. Vehei haorot halalu, and these 5 lights. Hem sod, they are the secret, and then Masha Amru Chazal, the second word from the end of the line 5 is an abbreviation. Masha Amru Chazal. The last 3 letters means Chazal, means the Chachamim Zichronam Livracha. In Hebrew is I just tell you, but we you need just only to recognize this. But I say in words. That means the last 3 members of this word, letters of this word, mean Chazal. We say it Chazal. Het, Zayin, 2 apostrophes, and Lamed. Means the wise men of the blessed memory. And before this expression, can, sometimes they use sometimes different how do you call it, prefixes, like here is it mi ma amru chazal. Ma means mem is what, that what, sh is mem is ma, it means that or what, shin is sh, that what, literally, and then what said what used to say the wise men. Ma amru chazal. If you just couple these two, if you just connect these two, the pronunciation as you hear it, and this word, and then we will use it plenty times, and you will remember this. After the comma, where who sod Masha Amru Chazal, and this is the secret of what the wise men used to say. Ha'or 6. Shebara HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the light. 6. Shebara HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I said already, probably, that this is also the abbreviation, a very important abbreviation that we use. And I advise every one of you to remember this in order not to translate it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also, it means Ha is the definite article, and then Kadosh is holy, and then Baruch is blessed, and who is he? So it means HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed he, yeah, blessed is he, like this. But better to remember this. Just try to remember this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that the 6. Shebara HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Bayom Echad, on the first day of creation. Haya Adam Tsofebo, a man used to see in him, in this day. 7. Misof Aulam, from the end of the world, Ad Sofo, to the other end, from one end to another world, and to another end of the world. Kivan shenistakel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because, no, not because, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw 8 Bador Hamabul, in the generation of the flute, Uvador Haflaga, and in the generation of the Tower of Babel. Vera'a, and he saw Shemaasehem 9 Mikulkalim, that their deeds were how do you call it, defected. 9. Amad veganzo mehem, he stood up and he concealed it from them. Vize 10 Amru, the Idbare Vidganis, and that is what they used to say, what they said. The Idbare, that he created that he created it, the light, this prime light, with Ganis, and he concealed it. We will learn more about this later. What kind of light it was? The prime light that was created on the first day, and then the Hakadosh Baruch Hu, as we see, was that he concealed it from others. And why, we will learn it later. Maybe it's interesting to notice what the Torah said, what the Torah had said about at the end of the first day of the creation. That Vehi Erev in the line 2 and at the end of the line 2 and the line 3. Vehi Erev, Vehi Boker Yom Echad, and there was evening and there was morning, one day. Whereas in the other days, the day number 2, the day number 3, the day number 4, and the day number 6, in all these days we have the Torah uses just a cardinal, how do you call it, Telword,
a cardinal number.
The cardinal number. No, the cardinal number is not good. It's not right what I said. This is the first. The first day is the day 1. This is the cardinal, yes. And in other days they use
ordinal number.
The ordinal number, yes. And the next days they use the ordinal numbers, like the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day. This, yeah? What's the difference? Why is on the first day of the creation the Torah says Yom Echad and not the first day, Yom Rishon? It would be said in accordance with the other days. In the Kabbalah, we study it, we learn it, that first of all, the day, why is it said, Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Boker, and there was evening and there was morning, one day. First of all, why is it that why the Torah says evening, why the Torah precedes a word evening to the word morning? Normally, the morning is the beginning. this has a deep, very deep meaning. The morning is when it is clear, when a man can see things clearly, when one can perceive things clearly, and the mind is clear. And in the evening, we see everything a little bit in between. Yeah, first it starts after the midday, and then the day is getting how do you call it? Is going away, and then becomes dark, and then we say that the day starts. We see it in the laws, in the Jewish laws, like they call it the Jewish law. The Jewish law is the law of the universe. So it means that the day, and in the Jewish law, what they say, the day starts in the evening. The blessing of the day is beginning in the evening. Everything that new is new, a new cycle in the day, or new day, starts in the evening. And this is very important, because this is how the universe functions. That first, in everything that is to be grasped, that a person first experiences darkness, and then he must go through the darkness to the light, whereby the darkness is a structural part of a day, of a one whole day. Not the day light makes a day, but two parts that are seemingly controversial, opposite each other, stay opposite to one to another. Are form one whole day, and one can be without another one. This is like what we also learned about the Nukwa. You remember about the Nukwa that he said the state of the Nukwa, the small state of the Nukwa, was the preparation, the forming of the kli, the vessel, for the big state, when she received the light of Gadlut, the light of the big state. And in another place, he said also in the Zohar that we learned already, that the two things, two parts of the lily of the Shoshana in her state of Katnut, in her small state. You remember, one Sphira Keter stands in the Katnut, in the Atzilut, and the 9 lower parts are in the Bria, are lowered in the Bria. So this is in the state of Katnut. And the Zohar said to us that the upper part, this one Sphira Keter, is white, and the 9 lower parts of her are red. And then the Zohar made a comparison that in the big state of the Nukwa, when she is called Knesset Israel, the gathering of Israel, community of Israel, but literally is it the gathering of Israel. This would correspond in here to 2 attributes of here, 2 properties of here. Of mercy and judgment, corresponding to them. So you see that both are necessary, that in the state of Gadlut, in the big state, still are preserved these 2 elements, and both of them make the big state. So we see everything is built up out of these 2 parts, 2 powers that are active in the universe. So keep it in mind in every situation. And you will learn and accustom yourself not to escape from the situations when it is darkness, when the darkness is a structural part of the light. So if you lead a good life in accordance, you try to do your best to live in accordance with the laws of the universe. And then you, by trying this, and still you feel periods of darkness, then these darkness, you must believe, trust that these situations of darkness are structural, necessary, that this is a blessing, that it is given to you to experience these periods of darkness, because after that will come eventually the light. The line 11. וזה שאומר ויתקלל bebrit hahu, the al 12 Shoshana, double point. And this is what he says, the Zohar. V'yitkalil bebrit hahu, and v'yitkalil, and this is, and it is added to this covenant. Brit is covenant. The Ael B'Shoshana, that the Brit, the covenant that is entered in the Shoshana, in the lily. Double point. So you see, he speaks about some covenant, Brit, that is entered into the Shoshana. Something masculine that is that was entered into the Shoshana as the feminine. 12 double point. Klomar Shehei achasadim halalu Nichlalu 13 Mikodem Bayisod de Zeir Anpin Velo Bau Yashar Mibina 14 Hanikra Elokim El Hanukva point. Every aspect what we learn here, later in the Zohar, it will come again and again, but it will be explained in more details, in many aspects, complexity, but everything starts here. That's why it's very important just already now get some reflection, some engravings of this impact of what you study here. 12 double point. Klomar. So what does it mean? That the covenant is entered into the Shoshana, into the lily. Double point. Klomar. That means Shehei hachasadim halalu, that these 5 chasadim nichlalu were incorporated, yes, 13 Mikodem, firstly, Bayisod the Zeir Anpin, in the Yesod of Zeir Anpin. So you remember the Yesod has, the Zeir Anpin has 5 Sfirot plus Yesod. So it means, he said, that 5 Chasadim, now, firstly, they are coming into the Yesod of the Zeir Anpin. The last station of Zeir Anpin, actually the Yesod that is supposed to give it to the Nukva in a way that it is sufficient for her. Velo bau yashar mibina. Look what he says. but they are not coming directly from the Binah. They are coming from the Binah, but not directly from the Binah to the Nukva, but firstly through the Zeir Anpin, and Zeir Anpin, from Zeir Anpin, upper parts of the Zeir Anpin, to the Yesod, and not directly from the Binah. 14. Hanikra Elokim, the Binah, which is called Elokim, Ela Nukva, to the Nukva. So these 5 Chasadim doesn't come directly from the Binah, that is the name of which is Elokim, to the Nukva, because if we look at the first fragment of the Torah, the creation of the world, then we see, if you open just the Hebrew Bible, or Torah, as we say, you see the solely name Elokim, and not the tetragrammaton, the name Havaya, existing of 4 letters. The attribute, pointing out the attribute of mercy. But here we see Elokim, the attribute of judgment. Right judgment, but judgment, still judgment. And so we see that the creation was made by this, firstly, by this name Elokim. And this name Elokim, this means the Binah. And this name Elokim created the Zeir Anpin and Nukva. But in these 5 Chasadim came naturally from the Binah. But the Binah gave it first to the Zeir Anpin, and the Zeir Anpin gave it to Yesod. And naturally it is the same 5 Chasadim, but on the lower and on still lower levels. And that's why they are the same, and still has another some quality that, or quantity and quality that is suitable for the lower Nukva. Sometimes you can see it like when a small child, maybe a half a year, maybe later, 9 months, 1 year maybe, when a mother wants to accustom the child eating some meat like this, what does she do? She takes a piece of chicken or something like this, and and he chews herself, chews in her own mouth a little bit to make it softer for the child, and then he gives it to a child. Why? Because the child can't get it through in the way like his mother does for herself. So we see the same in here, when an upper part of a upper spiritual object gives it to the lower, it gives always not from its own essence, but it gives to a lower part or a lower level from its external part. External means a lower, in order to enable the lower level, spiritual level, to get it, to grasp it. That's what he says also here. 14 point. Very careful and very concentrated, please. Vehabrit he Yesod 15 de Zeiran Pin de Ail Bashoshana Venatan Otam Aleha. Point. 14 after the point. Vehabrit he Yesod de Zeiran Pin, and the covenant is Yesod of the Zeiran Pin. 15. The Ail B'Shoshana, that entered into this Shoshana. V'natan otam aleha, and gave them to her. Point. V'tavahataam 16 Yidba'er Basamuch, and the meaning of this, literally ta'am means taste of it. You see, like how it is in the holy language. The meaning comes from the word ta'am, taste. So a man must taste thing. To understand the meaning, it means to taste it, like we do with our food. So we said, V'ata'am, and the taste of it, the meaning of it, Yid Ba'er Basamuch, will be explained in an adjacent fragment or commentary. We will see it with others. Maybe it's now the place to say something about the Brit, this covenant. We are speaking about the covenant. The covenant, you remember, the covenant also was mentioned, the covenant between the Creator, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the earth, and the human race. You remember after the flood, the flood, yes, you're right. After the flood, that
deluge,
yes, deluge. That when the Creator said, I regret about this. I regret, it's a very important thing, but what does it mean, regret? But doesn't matter, we just say it. And I will never again bring deluge on earth. And he placed a keshet, he placed a, how do you call it, a bow, yes, a rainbow, yeah, in the sky. And the Torah says, as a covenant, as a brit, the same word, as a brit, as a covenant between HaKadosh Baruch Hu, between the Creator and the earth, or the human being, human race. So it must be something very important, this phenomenon as Brit, Habrit. And brit means also something to cut off. And when we look in the previous generations, in the history, or with at the so-called primitive nations, even in the recent past, we see that very often they make agreements between each other by blood. You see, they cut their just skin, let's say, and the blood comes a little bit, and then they touch with it together, or like this, each hands like this, to show that they made a kind of covenant, agreement. You see, like, let's become close with through our blood. And in order to innerlize this, to bring it from outer into the inner parts, to make it deep and strong. And so we see this word brit as covenant. Later in the Torah we will see the covenant between HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu proclaimed to Abraham, first to Avram, when Avram was not circumcised yet. I will make a covenant with you and your descendants, he said. Again, the same word, to lay the lion's connection between him and the earthly creation. And then we will see the covenant between the whole nation of Israel and the Havaya, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, as he revealed himself to the whole nation. And now we see, and what was the covenant of the first Ivri, the first Jew, Avram. The covenant was the covenant of Yesod, of the fundament, the covenant of circumcision, by whereby one, as it were, a man, as it were, is cut off his connection with the Sitra Achra, with the impure powers. It doesn't mean that by this, the act itself, that a boy or a man is fully cut off the Sitra Achra, but it it is the beginning point. It is the cut, it is the place that makes it possible. And this is the sign of every Israel, the sign of the Brit. So we see this covenant from this perspective. And this place is also corresponds where the circumcision is made, corresponds to the Sfira Yesod in every living spiritual object. So in every partsuf, in every 10 Sfirot. And now here also we see in what he said that in the Atzilut, in the operational system from where all the light comes from, also to us, to all the creation, that that also over there Yesod provides the Nukva with these 5 Chasadim, enabling her to receive also by that he enables her to receive also, to experience and to receive also the number of Yud Gimel, of the 13 Mechila derachamim, of the 13 forgiveness of the mercy, 13 attributes of mercy. And by that she becomes one with Yesod of Zeir Anpin. It means that she is one with the Zeir Anpin. Yesod is the place in the Zeir Anpin. And she becomes one like 13, like Yud Gimel, like the gematria of the word Echad. And that is what is also written, that Bayom Hahu Yihye Hashem Echad Ushmo Echad. It's written in Zachariah, if I am not wrong, in the great prophet. He wrote that at that time, at that day, he said, Hashem will be Echad, Ushmo Echad, will be Echad, will be one, and Ushmo Echad, and his name will be Echad. It means he is, in this verse, refers to the Zeir Anpin, and Ushmo, and his name, means is a hint, is the Nukva, Malchut. And they will be Echad, they will be one, filling with permanently love, permanently connection with each other. And when the moon will be like the sun, it means that they will be the same posture, the same, and then they would be in zivug with each other. and this will bring the light of Atzilut to the lower worlds. Now it is Atzilut ends with the end of the Atzilut, and then there is a parsa, a separation, and whereunder we find Vriya Yitzira Asiya, the worlds of separation, where we can find in different measurement, the klipot, as we said, shells, and also the impure powers. But then they will be together, they will be one, when after the coming of the Mashiach, of the light of Keter, and the Atzilut will descend all the way to the Asiya. And the feet of Mashiach will stand on the Olive Mountain. Olive, huh?
Yeah, Olive Mountain.
Olive Mountain, yes. So we see this very important word brit, covenant, something to cut, something to put like a bow, a rainbow, and other manifestations of the concept of union. And this is actually the mailstone, no? Good? Of the Kabbalah, of the creation, of the aspiration and the urge to do here on earth, the union, always looking how to make unions, union in every situation, to see by seeing the controversy, because controversy, right and left, are intrinsic features in the creation, as we learn. There is loving kindness, chesed, from one side, and the judgment on another one. Both are necessary. Without the judgment would not be, the universe could not exist. And without the loving kindness, without the chesed, neither the life would be possible on earth. That's why this phenomenon, union, that is that we see in the Torah, in the Kabbalah, the Brit, we find this covenant, we find in the Torah, and in the Kabbalah, we speak about zivug, copulation, that brings the result of which is the union. And so we must, in every situation, look for the union. Not just to say, let's be patient like this, or like this, to avoid the contradictions or problem solving like this, but just escape from this. But to controverse them, but to bring the union means that you have both in yourself, that you make work within yourself along this way from the chasadim up till the judgment, the gvurot. And that you try from within yourself, make efforts out of your study, out of your lifestyle, changing lifestyle, you bring them together. Because neither of them is sufficient. Neither of them brings the real brit, the covenant. The covenant with the light is the middle line, where a man has judgment in a certain situation that is covered with loving kindness. This is how the world is created for the length of the 6,000 years, up till the coming of the Mashiach, of the light of Keter, let's say. This is what the first mention of this, I think, of this word covenant. You would like to hear more, Miriam, about this covenant, or have you some suggestions?
No, I think it's good.
Okay, because it's very important. From the first mention of this word, I ask you to pay great attention to this phenomenon. Because everywhere we will see this yesod coming back and back.
Ik denk dat het nog wel goed is om misschien te zeggen dat het licht van wat we doen, dat inkervingen maakt in je werk. Dus ook al dat je het niet alleen met je hoofd gaat proberen van, hoe moet ik dat doen?
Okay. It's right, probably. Yeah, that how it takes place, yeah? How we come to this union, to this brit, is not a question of only just thinking and just mental work, understanding with your mind. Because this doesn't bring this unity. You see, this is, look like this, look how it works, just a little bit. The right line, or the light of loving kindness, as we say, is belief, is something that you say, I don't want to verify this. I go above my understanding. I accept it. I want to cleave, to cling, to cleave, yes, to cleave to the light of Chasadim, or the light of a loving kindness, without any verification. But this is great, and you give thanks to this light. But this is a preparation. This is not enough. Why? Because only the union of these two gives the right formula, gives this brit, the covenant. Is then, if you go to the left, if you go only to understanding of things, neither these will provide you the solution, the experience of unity with the light. Because then you verify things, you have all kinds of doubts. In the left line, the understanding dominates the belief. Your clinging, cleaving, how do you call it? Your cleaving to the light. Instead, you are busy with yourself. It's also very important, of course, but then it's not enough. It's judgment. You see controversies, doubts, etc. Then, if you feel it like this, you must not also immediately escape and to say, oh God, help me. No, not directly. You must first try to solve it by your own powers. That means to make efforts, to come to make concessions with your right side, with your belief in your belief in the justice of the operational system of the universe. And then you are trying to unite yourself, to as it were, to shorten your understanding, as it were, by going above your understanding. So you say, okay, I understand, but within my understanding, I see this is impossible to unite myself with the light. Why? Because you are on the left side. That's why it seems to you that it's impossible. You see? But then if you go above your understanding, you say, it's above my understanding, I can't grasp it. Within this position, it's impossible, it seems to me impossible to unite myself, to feel the unity with the light within myself. It means that then you make an inner movement. You must make a movement, not to sit and to wait when the inspiration from above will come. But first, you are supposed to be the first one, the first who who awakens yourself for this unity. Not to say that the love must come from both parties. Why not? Because if you, as the first, make a movement towards the light, then you will see that you will eventually or surely receive in yourself the experience of this light.